Hey, how's it going? TRX Traveler Adam here. I just did a wicked workout for rear delts, hamstrings, quads, biceps, and also a sneaky little bit of triceps at the end. So I recorded it. It's a great workout. Every set I pushed to failure, so I'm going to take you through it. Hopefully you can get some inspiration. I'll explain to you how I execute the exercises, why I execute them, why I push them to failure, and yeah, let's get to it.
So, first up, we're heading into the TRX FACEPULLS. Now, before I crack into these guys, I just want to apologise for the lighting. It was 6:30 in the morning and it was pitch black here in London, in the UK, when I shot this. So hence the lights and unfortunately the poorer quality. And I have to use a fisheye lens to try and get my my whole sort of body in, so to speak, within this space. So these FACEPULLS here, this is my second set, and you can see I'm doing 4 seconds down. At the top, I'm holding for 2 seconds with a really strong squeezing as hard as I can, and it's about 1 second up. Now, I'm doing about 8 reps here, but look how slow I'm going. I'm not fully extending all the way down. I'm keeping that tension on the rear shoulder muscle, because that is what we want to train. And you can see I'm starting to fail here, so I'm going to take it to full failure. So little pumps, because I couldn't do a full complete one. Little pumps, again, little pumps. And now I'm holding, I'm just going to hold it, I'm holding it. This is isometric tension, and that's eccentric, and I'm lowering as slow as I possibly could there. Now that is taking it to full failure. So you've got your concentric, your eccentric, and your isometric, which is a muscle strength. You've got to deplete those 3 ranges to really wear a muscle down, for it to regenerate fully, to fire off as many fibers as possible, so you can regenerate as many more fibers as possible. And you can see immediately after that, what did I do? I then flexed. I tried to squeeze my rear shoulder muscles as hard as possible, and now I'm stretching. I'm stretching those rear shoulder muscles for 15 seconds. My arm isn't going straight across my body, it's wrapping behind my head to really stretch those rear shoulder muscles. So pay particular attention to the execution on them. Your hands, you're pulling your hands past your face, you're squeezing, pulling back super hard, as if there's a Coke bottle between your shoulder blades, pushing your elbows right back, and then you're lowering slowly. And the second exercise here is TRX flies. Now, don't rush these. These are all about tension, they're all about taking your time, and it's time under tension. So here you can see I'm going down for 4 seconds. I'm spending a little bit of time at the bottom there because I want to get a deep stretch in my chest. Now here, when I'm coming back up, I'm not pushing myself up fast, I'm not trying to outpower myself, I'm just slowly bringing my hands together so I come back up. And what I'm doing is, you see how my hands start bent, and then I straighten them at the top, and what I'm doing is I'm squeezing my chest muscles together for 2 seconds super hard at the top. I'm not focusing on bringing my hands together, I'm focusing on bringing my elbows together so I can squeeze my chest muscles together super hard. That's the key focus. Don't look to bring your hands together. Look to see my arms are bent here to get that stretch, and then as I pull up, I straighten my arms and I squeeze my chest muscles super hard. And if you look at how much my face is straining, it looks like I'm going to the toilet. That's how hard I am really pushing, really contracting, really squeezing my chest muscles. The flies are fantastic because it's one of the only exercises where you can really squeeze like this, the peak contraction for the upper chest. So I'd really advise you to focus not so much on how many reps you can do or how powerfully or fast you can do it, but just purely on the stretch at the bottom here and the tight squeeze at the top. Long, big stretches, hard, powerful, violent contraction squeezes at the top are what builds muscle, good quality, dense muscle. And you can see I'm starting to fail here. This might be my last rep. Yes, it was. So I push back a little bit. Oh no, I've got one more in me, squeeze my chest muscles together. And now as I go down, I'm going super slow, and I'm just going to do little pumps at the bottom here while it's stretching. Little pump, little pumps, and then I'm going to try and hold it. So this is complete failure. Look at my face, little pumps, then I'm holding, and I collapse. That is complete failure right there. Now what do I do immediately? I squeeze my chest muscles together exactly as what I was doing when I was exercising, to really push more blood into it, to feel that contraction, to feel the squeeze, and now I stretch for 15 seconds on either side again. Why do I stretch? I've covered this a few times before. essentially look at stretching as just free exercise, and stretching still tears the muscle, so it still breaks it down even further, and more importantly it causes blood to flow to the muscle. It helps with the pump, it helps drive nutrient to the muscle, and that's what we want when we work out. We want the pump, we want to force nutrient in. Now this next exercise is for the hamstrings. Now look at my feet. I'm paying particular attention to my feet there, and I've done a stance that's outside shoulder width. Now this may look like simple squats, it's not. The one thing I am doing here is making sure only my hamstrings and glutes are contracting. On the way down I'm pulling down, I'm contracting my hamstrings and glutes, and on the way up I'm only contracting my hamstrings and glutes to push back up. Now what I'm doing is what's called 1.5 reps. So I'm going up for a full rep, and then I come down for half a rep, and then I go up for a full rep, and that's 1.5 reps. Here I'm failing though, because I could only do a few of these. So you can see I'm just pumping, I'm just doing little pumps, my head's all over the place because it's hurting so much. I'm pumping, a little bit, holding, and I'm going to hold, and I fail, then I fail, and I go down slow as possible. Look at the agony there. That is because I'm only squeezing throughout that entire range of motion. I'm squeezing my hamstrings as hard as possible. On the downward phase, I'm pulling my body down. I'm not just sitting down, I'm pulling it down. Then I stop, I pause, and I contract my hamstrings and glutes to rise back up halfway, back down, then rise back up a full way. This takes time and it takes practice to be able to switch between using your hamstrings and your quads for squats. But it's a very, very, very useful tool to be able to do, and you'll notice your hamstrings develop a lot faster when you can do this. So take your time and practice squatting just with your hamstrings and just with your quads. Now you can see on the hamstrings I had a wider stance. This is quads. Now the one thing I'm doing here for quads is I've got a short stance, but I'm constantly pushing my feet outwards. I'm not focusing on standing up and down, I'm focusing on pushing my feet against the floor outwards, and I'm focusing on rising up and down. So down slow, and then back up for maybe 1 or 2 seconds, down for 4 seconds, back up for 1. And look, I'm failing because this is my second set, and I'm pumping, I'm trying to hold it, I'm pushing outwards, I'm pushing outwards, and I fail. Throughout all that, I was pushing my feet outwards. That is the one focus. Don't just drop with gravity, don't then just try and stand back up using multiple muscles. If you push your feet outwards, it will put all the entire load onto your outer quads. Your outer quad, or the sweep, is what builds thick legs. It's a big muscle, it looks extremely bloody cool when it's built up. So really take your time, push your feet outwards, get a nice big range of motion, sit deep at the bottom. When you come all the way back up, don't lock your legs out. On the hamstrings and the quads, you don't lock your legs out because that will take tension off the muscle. Go to almost lock out, but stop and then go back down. This is really pumping. These squats are pumping actions to pump the muscle, to pump the blood into the muscles to wear them down. And when you nail it, you will know, because they are brutal. My second set here, my first set I could probably do 8 reps, 4 seconds down, 1 second back up, approximately. But this is my second set on both the hamstrings and quads, and you can see I was struggling after 5 or 6 because they really take it out of you. And when you push it to failure, so you finish on half reps, the isometric hold, and then finally low and as slow as possible, the negative, man, they kill. I'll put a link to the video talking about these 3 ranges of strength so you understand what I mean in more detail at the end of this video. Now here onto the biceps, and this is reverse curls. Reverse curls are fantastic to build the brachialis muscle, to build arm thickness. And again, I'm going 4 seconds down, I contract my triceps at the bottom to lengthen the brachialis and my bicep muscle. As I contract my arms up, I'm pulling my wrists outwards. So I'm rotating my thumb outwards. You can see the rotation there. That helps with the bicep peak. And again, I'm pulling up, and you can see here now I'm failing, and so I'm just going to do pumps. So little pumps. These are our halfway, our partials. Then I'm going to hold for the isometric, and then I'm going to go as slow as possible in the eccentric down, which was quite fast because I was so knackered. And then of course, what do I do straight after? I flex and I squeeze the arms as hard as possible there to really feel it contract. And again, front double bicep shot, squeeze and feel that muscle contraction, feel a violent squeeze. And then of course I go straight into the stretch, so straight into the 15-second stretch on either side. You can see I've got my thumb against the wall here, not my hand, my thumb, because we want to stretch out the brachialis muscle and the bicep muscle. And again on the other side. So full range of motion on these reverse curls, guys. These are great to build arm thickness. The brachialis muscle will push the tricep muscle and bicep muscle away from each other as that grows. and that will create a thicker arm, a denser arm. And finally, I just wanted to throw in a little exercise on the bars here. I picked these up from Decathlon for about 20 quid, and I'm loving them. And I'm actually surprised. I haven't done dips in like 5 years. I haven't been to the gym 5 years, but I'm actually surprised at how strong I was able to do and how many dips I was able to do. So this is just a little throw in at the end. Normally I would do some skull crushers or some close grip presses, or even some TRX dips. But I've just been mixing things up, and because I'm really enjoying the isometric holds of the bar work here. So if you do want to mix things up, I can recommend these bars. I'm not affiliated by any means. I'm not going to try and sell you them. I'm just finding them fascinating to mix in with TRX training and functional strength. You can see I could only do about 4 or 5 dips, so now I'm taking it into negatives and going super slow, super slow. I've still got a lot to learn on the dips. I'm doing a lot of research and reading around it, and I'm practicing a lot, so now my strength can change, how my isometric hold strength can change. Really trying to keep my elbows tucked in here, and shoulder blades contracted, head up, chest out, keeping its good form. It should be a whole sort of vertical plane from your shoulder down to your wrist. And I think I got up to 9 reps, and here I was really struggling. You can see I had to use my feet to help me on the way down the negative. But this is a great way for any exercise. If you can only do a few sort of concentric, for example a bicep curl, then just focus on doing the negative and take the negative really slow and do another 4 negatives. And you can apply that method to many different types of TRX exercise. And the negative phase it does grow strength. So the stronger you get in the negative, the stronger you get in the concentric as well, the positive phase. And again, immediately after an exercise, what do? We stretch. So we stretch for 15 seconds. This applies to every muscle group. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Intra-stretching is key. Frank Zane, a 4-time Mr. Olympic bodybuilder back in the golden era, beautiful, beautiful physique, incredible body, he raved about it. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you found this useful. Please subscribe, and I will be releasing many more videos like this in the future. Have a very nice Christmas.